Welcome to Hey Max Coaches and Cocktails, where your cocktail doesn't have to have alcohol, but it probably will. So I have with us today Tom Perry from Thomas Perry LLC. He is the transformation consultant in that LLC, which is consisting of you.
Me. Just
yes.
Me.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And I also want to introduce Tonia Trivett, who is the founder and principal for Agile Phoenix LLC.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So today we were going to, it's going to be really our first episode for this particular thing that we're going to try doing. And one of the main reasons why I wanted to get this started was, one, I think that the coaching community is really important for us to stay connected because in some capacity I've worked with both of you over the course of the last, probably 20 years now. Yeah. So staying connected is always really helpful, and really good things come out of those good connections. And we will talk a little bit about those probably in the next 20 or 30 minutes or so. And the second reason why I developed this was because I also really enjoy a good cocktail. And the intention was that we would do these coaches and cocktails in the evenings and literally have cocktails and discuss them as the theme. Now, because of the coronavirus and all the lack of travel that many of us are put in that situation, we don't have the luxury of doing these in the evenings because our worlds have really collided between business and personal time. So it is 8:30 in the morning for Tom and 9:30 in the morning for me and 11:30 for Tonia. So we're not drinking quite that early because it is a Monday, but we'll go with the theme. So what I'll do is I'll kick us off. We're going to actually use a pretty cool tool that I found online that's called the spinning wheel. And we've added a few topics for us to go through. And we may go off topic, but this was really just to kick us off. So let's start with Tom. I'm going to spin the wheel, and then you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Oh, it looks like you get to pick.
Ooh.
Oh, so it's right on.
It
Okay.
is.
Fun fact about me. So I am what's a fun fact? Whew, so many. I'm a competitive power lifter. And so I just finished a competition about a week ago, actually. It was my first one, and it was fun because I was the old guy. Everybody was rooting for the old guy. It was a bunch of 20-year-olds lifting massive weights, and then out comes the old guy, and everybody's cheering. And so I get the applause no matter what. I can lift.
That's gotta feel good.
And they're still like, "Come on, old guy!" And I'm like, it's freaky because I'm out there, and I'm like, "What are you cheering for?" Because I don't see myself as the old guy. I look in the mirror, I see the 20-year-old. And they're cheering me on, and they're like, "Oh, come on, you can do it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'm just like that guy. I'm no different than that guy. I can do this. That's why I came here." So, yeah.
You're inspiring the youth.
Oh, my God. But it's free applause, so who am I to complain?
Right, yeah. And you don't always get that when you're doing your coaching
So
exercise.
I go for the cheap stuff.
Yeah. Sweet. All right. Let's move to Tonia. So we will start spinning the wheel, and let me know.
Stop.
Ooh. Favorite gadget. Yeah,
Sorry.
this is not late night. It's not late night.
I can't even say that's because I had a drink. How about I like my favorite gadget. I like Alexa. I have to admit it. I'm a total Alexa junkie. I have her do everything. And I literally I have to be careful. I say her name, like right as I'm leaving the house, I'll say, "Hey, take care of Buster," which is my dog. And it goes, all the devices in the house start playing this calming animal music.
Oh my God, that's great.
And then I have it so I can say, I have to be careful not to say it because you'll hear every device in my house light up. I'll say, tell Roomba to clean. And it goes, like I have robots everywhere. So it's like I have these little minions that I just command with my voice. I can tell all the lights in the house to come on or go off with my voice. Or like I have settings like do living room movie time. And all the lights dim to this really cool, like ready glow. And
yeah.
So that's my favorite gadget, and I drive people crazy. Now, occasionally she lets me down, and I have to like cuss at her. But generally, she responds the first time. But our Wi-Fi here can be flaky every once in a while. So sometimes, you know.
Have you ever had her talk back to you? Because when I cursed at her, she actually told me off.
Really? I'm gonna try that. And music, you know, we use it for music, we use it for everything. Yeah. And like I'm looking at one right now, scrolling through, tell me the weather. It's ridiculous how wired, and this drives other people in my life crazy because they're like, they don't know how to operate things in my house. They're like, well, how do you do this? Like, just ask her. Like, what do you mean how?
Yeah. I had the same issue when my dog sitter came over.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So you have the devices that control like smart home?
I have the Wemo on all the lights. Some of them are actually in the light switches. I have 4 Alexa, and I only have 1,000 square foot home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and I are definitely soul sisters. We're tech junkie stuff. I've got it now, so I can tell her, put it on my to-do list, and it creates a Trello card for me.
Oh, okay. That I need to know how to do because I've been asking for that, but it keeps going to a list that I can't get to, so I just stopped doing it. But I have a Trello board.
There's an app that great between. I know, right? I know.
Okay, Trello board. We just learned something.
Yeah, I'll walk you through it. Okay, just so you know, it's a time investment to make it work, but once it works, it's great.
I'm willing to put the time in. Trust me, this is my life.
Yep. So yes, so that's and I feel that the device totally embraces like the geeky side of me that I don't get to let out as much because of consulting. Like the consulting part of us, we're always giving advice on the strategy or execution or whatever, but we don't like get to geek out on tech as much as we did in like previous versions of our careers. Yeah. And I'm like, so it's kind of like my hack to make it do everything, and that means it's probably a hobby officially now.
I know. Trust me. I actually had a website back when we both worked at AOL that I tried to kick off, and it was Gizmos and Gadgets.
Ooh.
And I was posting all kinds of stuff about it, but it was really just for me to remember.
When we were at AOL, we had a secret website called, shit people say at work, and we quote like things that we wouldn't put who said it. We never revealed who said it. We had like an ongoing list, and they were hilarious. I'll have to see. Zach Zazula is the one that started. He and I started the list. And we had like tons of contributors. I don't know if you knew him.
Yeah. Well, we remember when we were doing the Gather project with Bud Rosenthal over in CC1 or 2 or whatever. Anyway, we had a whiteboard, and it was shitty quotes. So anytime we would have a meeting or something, this rolling whiteboard would go to every room. And if somebody said something that was memorable, we would write it on there, but we wouldn't say like who said it.
That's pretty good. All right. So a bit of a tangent, but hey, it's funny.
That's what we do.
Funny the things you learn about people when you just ask an open-ended question. Like I would have never guessed Tom was a power lifter, but totally impressed, man.
Yeah, and he actually posted some. Was it just a picture or was it a video?
A picture. Yeah.
Picture. Yeah. And it was like
was it your shirt off or what?
No.
I would do that if I was a power lifter.
You wear a singlet, and mine's red, white, and blue. And I remember my daughter, the first time she saw it, she was 3 years old. I was at a meet, and she's in the back of the room, all these big, strong guys. I get up, I stand up on stage in this singlet, this wrestling singlet thing, and she screams, "Oh my God, Daddy's got leotard!" And the room just went dead silent. Yeah, just for a moment, and then everybody busts out laughing.
God.
So it's yeah. There you go. I'm oversharing.
I want those pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. From a few years ago. All right, so we'll move to the next spin. Tom, it's your turn.
Stop. Favorite Agile lean thing. Ooh, that's a tough one. There are so many. I think right now my favorite Agile lean thing is just a Kanban board, because I just got done. See, I'm the one who stays at home during the day. My wife still going off to work, even with the isolation stuff. And so I'm here with my 2 teenage daughters. So my wife will be like, she'll get up in the morning, have coffee, and she'll be like, "Hun, we need to wipe down the surfaces. We need to have the dishes done. The kids need to do their homework, blah, blah." She's the product owner. So she gives me this long list. I'm there like with the Post-it notes, just going furiously, bam, bam, bam. And then I thought, well, God, how am I going to get all this done? Because I'm working too. And I really am one of those really lazy dads. I don't want to have anything to do with the kids. I got stuff to do. And so I put up a Kanban board, simplest thing, to do, in progress, done. And I slap all the stuff up there, and I'm so lazy I don't even tell the kids what it is. I just put it on the wall and walk off. And I come back like, and I come back 2 hours later, and the kids have already taken a note and they've stuck it in progress. And I'm like, holy cow! It's like built in. And so then I get through, and I have to nudge them on a few things, but they get it all done. And the next morning, I come into the kitchen, and I'm trying to be casual with the Post-it notes and the pen. And I'm like, "Hey, guys, so what do you want to do today?" And trying to be all casual and sneaky, and they call me out immediately. And so then I'm like, "Okay, here's what I want you to do today. Being the bad Scrum Master." And so then I write down all those things and stick them up on the board. And it's been kind of working, which is kind of blowing my gourd.
Well,
so
I'd put that one down in the win column for parenting.
No shit.
Totally.
I wish I could give my dog a Post-it note.
I know. They would do it up.
So I'm big on the Kanban board right now. I've never, ever tried to do the Agile thing at home. Always avoided that.
Yeah.
And this last week I did that. I finally broke down and did it, and it worked like a bloody miracle.
Have you ever watched the HBO series Silicon Valley?
No.
Okay, so it's either in the first or the second episode, or sorry, I know it's in the first season, but I don't remember what episode it is. But if you can splice through the not safe for children language, if that's a problem for, like, that's why I don't have children.
Oh, no, we all speak pirate in this house. Yeah.
Okay, good. There is a whole section on the two engineers who fight over who can finish more on their Kanban board first. And that little clip might actually be funny enough that they would be like, "Oh, okay, game on."
Hey, you know what? That's right, a little healthy competition.
Oh,
That's right.
And there's been some of that.
Cool deal.
Okay.
All right. It's your up time.
Oh, favorite drink. Mojito, hands down.
Really?
Mojito.
Has it always been your favorite drink?
Oh gosh, no, in my 20s, I was like everybody else and drank things that had great funny names like Sex on the Beach or whatever, because that's what you did. And then when I found my own drink, I don't know, when did I find the mojito? It's probably on a cruise or something. I came upon the mojito. But my hack is I don't do well with rum at all. Rum and I will have a hangover every time with rum, but I can vodka like nobody's business. So I just switched the rum out and you make it a vodka mojito.
Oh, nice. Well, I was thinking back when I was in college, because that was actually the first time I ever had anything to drink, alcoholic drink. My best friend, who actually lives here in Colorado now, right on the other side of the highway from me. It's so weird.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was a Sex on the Beach.
That is so
They
funny.
had so much orange juice and like sweet stuff.
Yeah, basically it was just full of sugar, right? Like it's like you could drink without tasting the alcohol. And now I really appreciate, and you know what's funny is I say my favorite, it's like that's my favorite mixed drink, but if you add like a drink on the rocks, 100% Jameson on the rocks, 100%. Like I can do that. That's if you had to say like what's my go-to, more of the times than not, it's probably Jameson. It's a shame.
Yeah.
I think there's something genetic about it.
I was expecting, not because of you, but just because of the time frame in which we started all experimenting. I really thought somebody was going to say Bartles and James.
Or remember strawberry wine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a bad. Oh, Smith Mountain Lake and strawberry wine. That's right.
Smith Mountain Lake. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's going to take a few people back from East Coast.
Right. That's right. That's right. My parents met on Smith Mountain Lake. I was conceived, we believe, on Smith Mountain Lake. I grew up on that lake. I knew every inch.
Too funny. All right, Tom, you are up.
All right. And stop.
Oh no, you already did that one.
I already did that. Can we spin again?
No.
Yeah. And stop.
Ooh.
Biggest career challenge. Ooh. Boy. I think biggest career challenge for me, I've gone independent, like started my own business twice. And I think those have been profoundly challenging each time. So compared to going to work for somebody else is a walk in the park.
Yeah.
It really is. And largely I think it's twofold. It's the uncertainty. So you really do have to, you don't know what's going to work, even if you know what line of business. First time I did it, I was a software developer. So I wanted to write code for other people. And, but you don't know what to write, what kind of applications to put out there. I started off in a business that I knew, which was desktop publishing, and and that turned out to be kind of a weak market. And then what do? And you work on your network, and then you realize what you're good at and what you're not good at. For me, it was always, I was very, very good at the delivery side of things, but the marketing and the sales side of things just really, really struggled. And all of the hat switching that you have to do as basically a solo entrepreneur is wicked. And combine that with the ups and downs, which, one day I'm a genius, the next day I'm an idiot, the next day I'm a genius. And, that roller coaster, that's really what killed me the first time around. I was like, God, I'm getting out of here. I'm done with this, so I had a business for about 3 years and I was making more money than I ever had before, but I just could not handle the highs and lows. So I went back to work for somebody else, and it felt absolute. I mean, I went back into the workforce, and I was like, oh my God, you guys have it so easy. And
isn't that counterintuitive to a lot of people who haven't started their own business?
You think?
Well, I think a lot of people are afraid to start their own business because they think it's so much more work and so much more difficult.
Yeah.
They should be afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this time around, I'm older now. That was back in my late 20s, early 30s. So I'm older now. So I handle the highs and lows a bit better than I used to, so that's good. But still, it's the same old challenges. I'm still very, very good at execution. And even though it's a completely different business now, it's consulting. In many ways, I feel like much more of an expert than I did when I was younger. So that's great. But on the flip side, well, especially now, I mean, business and getting new business is still something that I struggle with. And, that's something that if I could wish for one thing, it would be that. So, my biggest challenge is the networking. And once I can get in the door and start the sales conversation, that part's easy. How about you, Kristen? Does that resonate for you? I mean, you've kind of been in the same boat over the last year, although it's been a very different journey, I think, for you.
I would say that I never wanted to start my own business. I never did.
Mm-hmm.
I think it wasn't until the threats of layoffs that happened in 2018 that got closer and closer to being real that I started talking to my coach about the possibility and like, what would it be? Because I think the hardest part for me was believing that I had something that other people would want to pay for.
Right.
And it wasn't just like the whole, oh, Kristen, don't you just value yourself because you've been doing this for so long, you have so much doubt. And it wasn't that. I was like, I know I'm smart. I know I have a lot of shit in my toolbox, right? But it was the marketing and the sales piece. It was like, how do I explain to people what I want to do if I can't articulate it? It's like marketing 101 and, strategy. So the funny part is I learned how to do it for my own business by actually teaching people how to do it for theirs, which I think all of us on this call, like we already have the skills. We already know how to help a company build a strategy, create themes,
We
create.
do, but we're horrible for
We already
ourselves.
know all that shit, but then you have to turn it introspectively and say, okay, what is my
Right.
business about? It's like,
I know.
all of
And
a
you know
sudden,
what? We should support each other in facilitating that too, because truthfully, like, I'm horrible, okay, at doing my own like strategy development. But if I had a pusher,
yeah,
I need somebody to push me a little bit and help me get out of my own head. Like I do that for other people all the time. I'm their muse. I help them get out of their head. We talk through. I, it's hard to be that, to be so good at that for other people.
Yeah.
And then, but when you turn it towards yourself to be like, well, okay, maybe I'm just a big old fraud because I don't feel like I should be able to do this, right?
yes.
Because I help other people do it all the time. And I can see that I'm helping them.
Yeah. Well, and actually, I think we were going to get together in January, and then everything happened to do that for each other. But I do think that that is something that we could be offering to each other. The challenge for most of us, not all of us, for most of us, is that because we do spend a lot of our time on the road, just finding time where we can all do it. And our preference genuinely is going to be do it in person.
Absolutely.
And I live in Colorado. Tom lives in Washington State, and you're in Florida. So you automatically have to spend money to even genuinely want to go help a fellow coach or partner to do that kind of stuff. And it's ironic because right now, people are figuring out how to do that very thing for companies remotely. All right, well, we have time for one more spin each here because we have about 6 more minutes left. And Tom, it's you.
All right. And stop.
Oh.
Oh,
I was hoping you'd get this one.
yeah, no pressure. Woo.
How many do you have?
Yeah, gotta pick from your list. I feel like he's got a Rolodex. He's like, spin.
Let me see. Yes.
We like animals.
So, speaking of animals, so I have these neighbors right next door, wonderful neighbors, great folks, and my wife gets along with the lady of the house next door, and they decide one evening that they're going to have a bottle of wine over at their place. So the ladies go next door, and it turns into ladies' night. All of a sudden, a couple of ladies from the neighborhood show up, and they go out in their backyard, and right up against our fence is a fire pit. And it's great. It's awesome. So they're going, and I'm sitting here at the computer, and it's like 9 o'clock at night. It's dark out, and I can hear them roaring. The ladies are really getting going. Okay, so the wine has obviously been, passed around a few times, and they're telling stories, and I can see, the fire through the fence, and I'm thinking, this is awesome. And all of a sudden, it occurs to me that I have in the garage a mounted warthog head. Yes, long story behind that. I won't go there right now, but it is a genuine warthog head. Big tusk, little lumps sticking out of him, hairs, weird stuff coming out of his ears. And he's mounted. My wife won't let me put him in the house, so he stays in the garage.
I'm with her on this one.
Right? Ugliest thing you've ever seen. Ferocious.
I know.
And I realized he's been collecting dust out there, and he needs a little air. So I grab him, and I run behind the fence. I sneak up behind the fence, and make a snorting noise, stick the giant head over the edge of the fence, and all I can hear are screams, just screams left and right, because in the darkness, rearing up above the fence is this demon head with tusks and horns and everything else, making snorting noises. And the funny thing is, my wife literally flipped over backwards in her chair. There was wine everywhere. 2 ladies ran all the way across the yard to the opposite side before they recovered. At which point, I learned an important lesson, which is the funny part always starts with a lot of anger. They were so pissed. All you could hear were expletives. You just would not stop. For about 30 seconds, they were so angry. They were spitting angry. They couldn't. And then the laughter starts. Once the self-consciousness kicks in, once the shock wears off, then they're like, oh, that was funny, Tom. You got to come over and have a glass of wine. Bring the head. And
bring the head.
Bring the head. Yeah. So I show up next door with the warthog head, and the rest of the evening was a good time. But yeah. There you go. That's about as funny.
That's pretty good. That's a good joke. That's my kind of humor. I like to scare people.
It's like Ellen.
Yeah.
All right, one more spin.
Oh, one more spin. Okay. Stop.
Oh, you already had that one.
Stop. Why start your own business? Why? Oh, this is a good story. Okay, so I just got sick of working for overlords. I decided nobody could be the boss of me anymore. No, it was, just, it was time. It was overdue. I felt like I had, thanks to SAFE, which I'll give them credit, and my experience with SAFE, I felt like I could make money on my own. It was scary because I had an executive position at Accenture when I resigned. And I've always been a corporate girl with a paycheck that showed up twice a month, like clockwork, with my 401k match and my full health insurance, and my whole life. And then all of a sudden, I made the choice to cut the cord and try. I figured I was at a point in my life where I had nobody depends on me right now financially or what have you. It's like if I failed, only person I'd be taken out at this point in my life, because my daughter's grown, is me. So basically, I just felt like the work could be done without being part of a huge company, period. Full stop. And it can. We're all proving that all the time, right? So it became pointless to also, I felt like I was constantly educating my colleagues about how to work in this way, the SAFE, Agile, lean way. So it felt like I really had two jobs all the time, because it felt like during the day I was helping clients do their transformations and learn and train, but then I was battling my colleagues in the evenings so that they learned too, because they were very resistant. They thought Agile was, first of all, they didn't really understand it, even going through training. And secondly, they thought it was something that they could make a version of their own, and like try to make it get, like we've all seen everybody make that mistake, right? And so it became this constant two jobs. I felt like I had two jobs all the time, 24/7. And, the final moment was some executive had moved a bunch of PowerPoint slides. I was about to do an executive SAFE presentation, same one I'd done, 30 times before. And the executive didn't understand it and changed all my slides and everything without telling me, and then told me I was going to do it his way and added a bunch of incorrect artifacts in about stuff that was wrong, because it came from we had an internal knowledge base, and there's a lot of really bad misinformation out there. So I said, nope, I'm going to walk in there with my original presentation, and I'm not listening to you. And it was his client, it was a Diamond client, and I'm going to do it my way. And I said, and this is officially, because I've been trying to quit for months, and they kept bribing me to stay. And I said, this is officially my 2-week notice. This is too far. He goes, well, we tried to get you all weekend to do these slides. And I said, I don't work on weekends. It was that, so I was just so had it at that point, because I had worked on weekends. There was no gratitude for people. There was just absolute grind people to a pulp. And I said, this is official. I said, I'm going to do this presentation and I'll make it look good, but I'm out of here. After that, it's the last time I set foot in the office. And best choice I ever made. I only wish I had done it earlier. It was really nice to say, you know what, I'm firing you. I'm going to fire you. You're fired. Yeah, I don't want to be part of this anymore. So, but it's nice. And so I'm very fortunate that I have a loved one that is an serial entrepreneur that started and sold and had many businesses. And as a significant other, I felt like I had somebody that really could help me do this, and actually had the skill I didn't have. And it's been amazing, because he has, and we are still iterating through it, because he's got to learn a lot of American laws. He's Canadian. So little quirky things that he didn't know 1099s have to be out by the end of January or something, or W4, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's a thing here.
Well, all right. Well, I'm going to thank both of you for joining us today on the Coaches and Cocktails inaugural episode 1. And with that, thank you everyone who's watching. And if you want to reach out to either Tom or Tonia, stand by for some URLs that'll be present in the video.
Thank you, Kristen, for bringing us together. This was a lot. Actually, this was quite entertaining.
Yes,
I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
I did too. You guys
awesome.
take